Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about an essential concept in essentially every programming language. We're going to be talking about operators. What are they, what different kinds exist, and how should we use them in programs? So, to get started, what is an operator? Well, an operator is just a symbol that has a special meaning in the context of the language. Now, typically, when we're talking about operators, we're talking about, say, mathematical or logical operators between two values. So these are universal across almost all languages. Now, the most simple to understand, the most common that you've probably seen outside of programming are arithmetic operators. Certainly you would have seen these in math class. And so here we say x equals 5 plus 4. And this is interesting because we're not assigning x a particular value, or at least it doesn't look like we are. We're assigning it this expression. And an expression is essentially whenever you have, two or more values that are connected by two or more operators, or one or more operators, excuse me. So arithmetic operators are basically the things you would have learned in math: addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, exponentiation, and modulo, which we'll talk about at a later time. But what you need to understand is that these expressions evaluate. And now this is a very important concept. So whenever you have an expression like 5 plus 4, it evaluates to a single value. So 5 plus 4 evaluates to the value 9. 5 plus 4 equals 9. So the Python interpreter will look at this expression, evaluate it, and then assign x to that value. And this is done with almost all operators. They essentially will evaluate and return a value, a singular value. So here are some more examples right here of just using mathematical and arithmetic operators. So we have addition, division, modulo, exponentiation, all being put on display here. So that's the main concept behind arithmetic operators. But then we have assignment operators, which are extremely common. In fact, you've already been using them. The most basic assignment operator is this equals sign. And all the assignment operator does is it takes your variable and it tells it what it should be storing as a value. So here, a equals b, whatever the value of b is, a is now going to be pointing at that value, at that object. So you may have already noticed that we use these equal signs to assign values. But you should note that these equal signs are very different from the equal signs you would see in, say, math class. So here we have this expression, a equals a plus 1. Obviously, there is no value that is equal to itself plus 1. That doesn't exist. But that's not what we're saying. We're just saying take the current value of a, add 1 to it, and that's what a equals now. And it should be noted whenever we have these assignment operators, the right-hand side of the expression is always going to be evaluated first. So that's evaluated first, and then you just assign a that value. But we also have some special assignment operators that use an arithmetic operator while they're assigning something. So here we have a plus equals 1. What this means is you take a, you say a is equal to itself plus 1. Or here we have a times equals 2. A is equal to itself times 2. And so this is just a shorthand. Instead of having to write that whole thing out, you can use this instead. Finally, here we have some comparison operators. As you may have guessed, these operators compare two values. However, they're not like arithmetic operators because these return a Boolean value, and as we discussed last video, Boolean values are just true or false. They're a binary. So here we have two numbers, low and high, and we have bool 1. And bool 1 is equal to whether or not low is less than high. Well, low is less than high, so it's going to return true. So when we print out the value of Boolean 1, we get true. And so there are multiple comparison operators, and a lot of these are pretty self-explanatory. We have less than, greater than. These bottom two right here are less than or equal to, or excuse me, greater than or equal to, and less than or equal to. And the way you can remember the order is that you would type them out exactly how you say them. So, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, you type them out in that order. And then we have these top two right here. And so we have the double equal sign and the exclamation point with the equal sign. Now the double equal sign is basically the equal sign you would see in math class. It asks, are these two values equal to one another? Are they equivalent? If they are, it will return true. The exclamation point with the equal sign is the not equals operator, and it will return true if the two things are not equivalent to one another. So it's essentially the opposite of the double equal sign. So operators, they're relatively simple things to learn. They're very straightforward. They're just symbols that can do an operation. They do something to your variables, your values. They're, just as you would see them in math class, very intuitive. I hope this video helped clear up any confusion you might have had. And I will see you guys next time when we start talking about loops and functions.